Hi, thanks again for being a Junior Achievement volunteer, and welcome to Part 2 of Elementary Classroom Management. Each classroom is different and may require you to adjust your classroom management style accordingly. There are many things you can do to help keep the class on task and focused on the learning outcomes. Here are a few tips. Discuss ways to transition students from activity to activity with the teacher prior to starting. You can employ these techniques while you teach. Examples include singing a song, clapping, give me five, flicking the lights, ringing a bell, and more. These techniques might prove invaluable to your experience. Remember that the teacher is your partner in the classroom and that they're there to support the volunteer. As you're presenting, walk around. Keep moving throughout the room. Your proximity alone is a powerful motivator that can get students engaged. Get to know students by learning each of their names. You can utilize the table tents in your JA kit or refer to desk name tags they already have. Addressing students by their name builds rapport and lets them know you value their participation. Another tip is to recognize and acknowledge productive behavior. This is a key strategy for every parent, teacher, or employee. Positive reinforcement builds self-esteem by encouraging people to make wise choices. With students, positive reinforcement promotes positive learning behavior. For example, you notice that during an activity, some students seem distracted. You look around the room and identify one table that seems to be cooperating and on task. You say, "Oh, I like the way that group 3 is working together. Looks like they're going to be ready for the next activity." If more than one group seems to be off task, ask a polling question of the entire class or just the distracted groups. Give everyone a chance to respond and ask additional questions of the distracted students. So, for example, let's say you're teaching a JA program where you're sharing information on how new products have changed how we live. Some students become disengaged, so you poll the students. You say, "Give me a thumbs up if you feel the iPod has changed how we get and listen to music." You can also try asking open-ended questions to further get students engaged in interesting conversation. You might try, "Give me another example of how entrepreneurs have changed the way you and your family live in your community." If students are tattling on one another, redirect the students' attention and remind the students to focus on their own actions. If the issue requires attention, work with the teacher to address it accordingly. In this example, Sarah blurts out, "Jacob's working on his worksheet already." You may say, "Sarah, thanks for sharing, but try to focus on your own work." If a group appears distracted or off task, move closer to them and just stand by to see what they do next. Support the group to ensure that they understand the instructions. In this example, there's one particular group that doesn't seem to be engaged in the activity. The students seem to get off topic quite a bit and they've fallen behind. First, you walk close to their table, making eye contact with the students in the group. This seems to have no effect on their behavior. You ask them, "How's everyone doing over here? Do you have any questions? We have a lot of fun activities to get through, so let's work together to complete this activity." The group refocuses and finishes the activity on time. Another tip might be to prepare age-appropriate examples ahead of time. Look through your guide for volunteers and teachers and write down your examples. You may also check out the volunteer page on www.ja.org and the JA Student Center for more ideas. Make sure to bring your examples with you to utilize during your JA lesson. In this example, you're covering an activity in a JA program on how a supply chain is often dependent on many suppliers to make or build a product. You've discussed how a business is affected when it can't get the parts it needs. To drive home your point, you say, "I recently read online how a flood in California washed out a highway and important computer parts couldn't get shipped to their destination. What other weather events can cause problems with shipments?" Sometimes, there are situations in which you should defer to your classroom teacher. For example, if a student asks for permission to go to the restroom, check with the classroom teacher. If a student becomes upset during your JA session, first check to make sure the student is okay, and then ask your classroom teacher for assistance. Sometimes you may feel like you're losing the attention of the class. For example, students may work ahead or get distracted and lose interest in the activity. This is an opportunity for you to pause your teaching, address the situation to the group or class, and revisit your learning goals and expectations. Take a few seconds of silence to settle the class before resuming your JA lesson. If you're not having much luck with these techniques, this might be a good time to engage the classroom teacher and ask for assistance with the situation. When volunteering in younger elementary classrooms, students often run to greet volunteers with hugs and high fives. If a student runs up and hugs you, gently pat the student on his or her back and step away. Acknowledge your appreciation for the student support. You might also try diverting students with a handshake. Demonstrate the significance and importance of shaking hands in the workplace. Practice shaking hands with the student. If time allows, try re-entering the classroom, this time using the handshake greeting. In this example, as you enter the room, your classroom full of excited kindergartners sees you and comes running to greet you. You say, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you. It's great to be back." As they attempt to hug you, you say, "Let me show you another way of greeting people. Do you know how to shake someone's hand?" You proceed to demonstrate how to shake their hands and say, "This is how adults often greet each other." All of the students are asking to shake your hand, but it's taking too much time. You say, "Let's practice shaking hands at the end of class, if we have time. On my next visit, we can greet each other with a handshake." If you want more guidance on this topic, please review the Volunteer Conduct Standards document you signed with your JA area representative. Thanks for watching Elementary Classroom Management. If you have additional questions, you can always reach out to your local JA area representative. As a Junior Achievement volunteer, you're part of a network of hundreds of thousands of volunteers, and you play an integral part in empowering 10.6 million students globally to own their economic success, including more than 4 million in the United States. You are truly making a difference in the lives of our students, and we hope to have you in the classroom again and again.